One. Welcome in everyone to Cash That Ticket podcast here on the Straight Outta Vegas AM feed. Thursday, August 20th, 2026. Here to get into the short baseball card on the MLB Thursday schedule, and we'll tackle our final NFL win total for the upcoming season. That will be the Los Angeles Rams, coming off of a 1-1 best bet podcast. Um, Nationals do get us to the window with their team total going over, and Max Scherzer has his regression, of course, against the Rays yesterday. But we'll look back to get to the winning ways here today and beyond. But joining me, as always, to help me break everything down happening in the sporting world, I got Uncle Diamond Dave Essler here with me. Uncle Dave, how's it going this Thursday morning?
It's going great. I mean, how can it not be, right? I mean, we live in America. We have all these blessings, and most of our problems are first world problems. Even losing a bet's a first world problem. But we soldier on, and I'm I'm starting to get excited for football season. I can't say I'm excited until we start winning, but it's good.
Yeah, the shift is definitely coming, right? Obviously, shifting over to football. Um, and everybody's excited for that and waiting for that. I know preseason week two, if for the NFL kicks off here tonight, starting with I think there's two games on the schedule, and then I know college football starts next week as well. So we're definitely excited for all of that heading into the month of September. But we still got about what 10, 11 days left in the month of August, Uncle Dave. So we'll continue winning here on the pod for what's left, and then of course for our clients there as well. Let's get into it here. We'll get into the three games that are on the evening schedule for the MLB. Of course, a lot of day action on getaway day on Thursday. But we'll start in the AL East. The New York Yankees, they are in Baltimore to take on the Orioles. Gerrit Cole getting the start here for the Yankees. It'll be Kyle Bradish for the Orioles. Orioles are a home underdog in this game with a price of plus 111, minus 119 on the money line for the Yankees. Total in this one, Uncle Dave, sitting at 7.5.
Yeah, tough one there. I mean, I was one that perhaps thought the Orioles had a chance yesterday. And they did, right? I mean, it was a close game until late, and their bullpen gave it up, and that's always a problem for Baltimore lately. And so I think if I had any inclination of taking the Orioles again, it would be in the first five. And you look at the market, and it's kind of a little bit favoring the Orioles. I don't know that people trust Cole yet. I don't know why. He's kind of proven himself to be back, if you will. But 78-ish% of the tickets are on the Yankees, and yet it's they're a little cheaper than they opened. So what do you do with that? I mean, Cole has he not many of the Orioles have seen him, so that's kind of a thing in his favor. And he hasn't had any really bad games. I mean, really since the All Star break. I mean, the Pirates got him a little bit, but I think you can count on him not giving up a lot of runs. And Bradish, surprisingly, is on. The Yankees have seen a lot of him, but they're only hitting 191 and 68 at bats, and that's not ideal either. But he's in good form too, right? I mean, three straight starts or three straight games with giving up two or less earned runs. So I guess I say all that to say, and the total open eight. It's 7.5. I would have loved under eight. I don't love under 7.5. However, let me see what we could get for a first five line. If I could get a four, yeah, I mean, there's still some 4.5s out there, heavily juiced at both DraftKings and FanDuel. I think I would take the first five under Munaf.
Yeah, and I don't blame you at all for that. The eight starts that Gerrit Cole has made this season on the road, 8-0 to the under in all of those road games. And I'm trying to see if it's even been close. There's only been one game, Uncle Dave, on the road this season for Gerrit Cole where there's been exactly 8 runs scored. Outside of that, everything else has been under 8 runs in those games there. So and they're 5-2 towards the under in the first 5 innings as well. So, um, I think offensively, the Yankees got out yesterday what they could. I know you had mentioned. I think you liked that over in the game yesterday. I know they got to the first 5 innings pushed. I was able to find a rogue 4.5. There was juice there, but I think this will be more of a pitcher duel here today between these two teams and these two pitchers, I should say. So, maybe it creep. I don't think it'll creep back up to 8 again. I think it'll be sitting at a 7.5 pretty much throughout the day. But I like your call in the first 5 under there in this matchup. I also lean towards the Orioles side here as well. Next game on the Thursday evening card we'll get to is the Washington Nationals. They are in Arlington to take on the Rangers. Andrew Alvarez going to start here for the Nationals. It'll be Jacob deGrom for the Rangers. Rangers are a minus 158 home favorite, plus 147 on the money line for the Nationals. To win this one, Uncle Dave sitting at 7.5.
Yeah, I mean, what do you do with that? I mean, I'm a little surprised that deGrom is only what was it you said? He is
158.
yeah. I mean, I would have thought that he would be higher. Um, the first 5 is considerably higher, as you would probably expect, and they what are they basing it off of? He's kind of gone every other start and has been really good, right? I mean, a month or so ago, the White Sox beat him up bad. Then he comes back and shuts down Seattle, and then Houston tears him a new one. Then he shuts down Baltimore, and then the Angels tear him a new one. So those are teams that have seen him for the most part, with the exception of the White Sox division opponents. So do you go with the trend every other game? I mean, he's due for a good one, and of course Washington haven't seen like hardly any of them. So I have to wonder if uh, maybe he isn't undervalued there. I mean, I like Alvarez. Uh, do I like him as much as deGrom? No, but you look at his last 4 starts, he hasn't given up more than 2 earned runs, and he's played some decent teams. He played the Mets, who were hitting. He played the Reds. He played at Philadelphia, but and at home against Toronto. So he's played some decent competition. So what do you do with that? I mean, I think you take the bullpens out if you like Washington, because we know they don't have one. Uh, so I think that and the Rangers. I mean, they're not putting up monster runs, and the I mean, they scored 0 last night, right? So
Yeah.
this could be another first 5 under 4.5 at DraftKings, or maybe I was thinking if I could get behind Washington for the first 5 plus a half a run, but I do think the first 5 under again is probably the way to go there, and I don't I don't see myself changing my mind on that.
Yeah, the home and road splits are what's jumping out off of the page for Jacob deGrom this season. He's been very good in Arlington, 11 starts, 5-2 with a 2.93 ERA. On the road, his ERA's at 5.01. And I know you kind of ran through this game log there where a lot of that damage did come on the road. His last start only lasted about 2 innings there. I think he left with an injury, is what I did see a note yesterday. But again, that was against the Angels in Anaheim. Had a pretty good start at home against the Baltimore Orioles. Got smashed in that game against the Astros. And then again, had a pretty decent start at home against Seattle, for the bullpen came in and coughed it up. So I'm not sure how long Jacob deGrom will last out there in this game. I mean, you would expect at least 5 innings from him. So I think if you like the Rangers side of thing, at least for me, I think it would be in the first 5 innings here. But I do think runs would be at a premium in this one as well. So I would go full game under in this one. Under 7.5 or first 5 under would be the look in this one. Last game of the night will be the Angels and the Astros. AL West battle. Grayson Rodriguez going to start here for the Angels. Will be Peter Lambert for the Astros. Astros are a minus 177 home favorite, plus 164 on the money line for the Angels. Total in this one, Uncle Dave sitting at 8.5. Astros do squeak out the 3-2 victory last night at the juice box, but here they are looking to get the series win against Grayson Rodriguez.
Yeah, I mean, this is another game that I was actually a little bit surprised that I mean Lambert in the first five is minus 175, minus 182, and similar for the game. And to be honest, I'm inclined to agree. I mean, I remember that in April and May we were making fun of him. Uh, I mean, how do you make fun of somebody that's making millions of dollars pitching in baseball? But we were betting against him, right? It was almost like, we have Paul Skeens Day, we have Peter Lambert Day. You know what to do. But he's proven us wrong the last month. Two earned runs exactly in five straight starts, and he's only given up 91 hits in 118 innings. That's pretty good. 117 Ks. You have to think Washington. I mean, the Angels aren't going to score a whole lot. And then you look at Rodriguez. I mean, he's really just not very good. I mean, his ERA on the road, it's a lot better than it is at home, but it's still 4.97, right? Um, and how many good games has he? His WHIP is 1.59 in the season. How many good games has he really had? Not many would be the answer there. And Houston saw him back in June. They also saw him in July. So they've seen a ton of him. So I mean, I can almost get behind the Astros run line, even not getting the last at bat. I wish the total would be higher, 8.5, just under. That gives me a little bit of pause to lay that 1.5. But maybe I take the Astros for the first five minus the half a run. As I'm talking this through, I'm thinking that may be. I mean, it's square, right? I mean, do not hear what I am not saying, but it's also cheap. It's only minus 120 at DraftKings. So I think that may be the way to go. And uh, yeah, I would take the Astros minus the half run in the first five innings, shy of laying minus 180. I think that would be as I'm talking this through because I hadn't looked. That would be the play.
Yeah, I think I would be in agreement with you about that. I know that Grayson Rodriguez has been absolutely terrible when he's pitching in Anaheim. It's been a little bit better on the road, but not doesn't give me enough confidence to back him on the road there. But also for Peter Lambert, right at Dyken Park, he's 8-5, or the Astros are 8-5 straight up in his starts there. Um, they've had success in the first five innings as well when he's pitched 8-4 and 1 straight up, and they're 7-3 on the run line when they are favored in the first five innings in his home starts this season. So I could see some type of 4-2, 5-2 type of victory here, Uncle Dave, for the Astro side of things. I think that again we talked about it on the Tuesday pod that they need this series again if they want to contend for that AL West division. They have a 2-game lead right now over the Rangers there. So again, when you're playing the bottom of the barrel of the AL West, you gotta win these games here. So and again, I think we talked about it that Peter Lambert has been one of the more consistent pitchers for this Astros team. I know Hunter Brown was on the IL for a little bit there for for the Astros, but again, it's just been steady Eddie for this Astros team. 64 and 63 is their record. 32 and 32 at home, 32 and 31 on the road there. So, yeah, but this is a big one here for this Astros team because I think they have a tougher schedule coming up. But I haven't, looked at the full schedule. But nonetheless, at least for this game, first five innings, Astros on the run line, and I wouldn't hate that full game. Where the bullpen has been better, I'll say that much. They get three over the weekend against the A's, who will be in town there. So maybe they can start a little bit of a winning streak here. I know we have some early action, Uncle Dave. I'm not sure if our listeners will be able to get to it, but has anything jumped out to you on the card as far as the early games go for today?
Well, let's take a look. I haven't spent a ton of time on day games because my record in day games is like 20%. So I typically will pass them. I think I would take the Royals. I don't love Dobnak, but I think Gage Jump kind of maybe shot his load earlier in the season. So I am inclined to agree with that one. I'm a leery of Cleveland and San Francisco. Williams has been pretty damn good. But I had Cleveland last night when their offense just went ice cold on me for the better part of the game. So I'm leery, and Root does have an upside. I at 7, especially for a total, I could get behind the Giants plus 1.5 runs. I mean, one of the things you find in day games, especially this time of year, is I mean, any time of the year, but more so this time of the year, people rest, right? I mean, it's
Yeah.
just not lineups aren't out yet, and that's always key in the day games. Um, Atlanta, Holmes, and K. I mean, good luck with that. That's a good game. I might have to put that on TV. I like Holmes. I like K. Um, I would pass that. I do like both. I mean, Seattle and Milwaukee's probably the most interesting game, right? I mean, 22-0 a couple of nights ago, and then Seattle comes back and pays them back last night. Um, I think I would take the under in that game. I like Gasser a lot more than the market does. I like Kirby. I like both bullpens. So I think under 8 in that game is what I would do.
I'll mention this for George Kirby, who has not been very good on the road this season, especially in the first 5 innings. I was just looking at on the road this season. In 10 starts, the Mariners are 1-7-2 straight up
Yeah.
in the first 5 innings there. So not getting a lot of run support. I feel like we talked about this on the last pod, maybe, but
Yeah. So
um,
now, so now he has value, right? I mean,
yeah,
are we gonna do the auto fade? Does that doesn't seem to work.
no, I agree. Um, so just want to point that out. But as far as the other games, again, that's 7 in that. I just went to 7.5 in the Blue Jays and the Rays game. I feel like that number was um, a little bit short there at 7 there. But Shane Bieber on the road has not been very good, to say the least. All right, so we'll put a pin in that for the MLB card for Thursday. Let's get into our final win total, Uncle Dave, for the NFL season. That will be the Los Angeles Rams, who come in with a win total of 11 and a half for this upcoming season. And of course, this team is absolutely loaded, and especially now on defense with the acquisition of the reigning defensive player of the year in Myles Garrett, where they did a trade with the Cleveland Browns. Rumblings of maybe Aaron Donald coming back and lining up with Myles Garrett there, but still a fairy tale as of right now. But this team did finish 12-5 last season in that NFC West division. And as we mentioned, they were one of 3 teams in that division with at least 12 wins. They did have a point differential of plus 172. They won 7 out of their 8 home games last year, Uncle Dave, 5-4 on the road. A little bit of a dip in the conference play, I would say, compared to the other teams in their division. They were 7-5 straight up against NFC opponents, 4-2 within the division. But here they're back again with Puka Nacua, with Matthew Stafford, with Devontae Adams, with Kyren Williams, and now Myles Garrett on the other side. Obviously, this team is a Super Bowl favorite for the upcoming season. But what are your thoughts on this Rams team for the upcoming 2026 NFL season?
Yeah, I mean, if the offensive line stays clean and they keep Stafford upright, I mean, it could be epic. I mean, I guess Puka's been dealing with a hamstring uh, in in uh, in training camp, so that's not ideal. But their offense could be special, but you know what? The defense could be more special, right? I mean, you mentioned Myles Garrett. They also added Jared Verse and Trent McDuffie in the backfield. I mean, and now I don't know what today's take is. Last I heard, Aaron Donald was thinking of coming out of retirement. So, is he what he used to be? If he does, no, but his presence is. I mean, I think it's all about the offensive line and the schedule, right? I mean, their schedule is kind of brutal. And I mean, like right out of the gate, they play the 49ers in Australia, right? I mean, that's problematic, I think. And it's unfair to both teams, if you ask me. But they get the Giants at home. That should be winnable, but you never know. I mean, they do get the extra rest, but I mean the Giants are going to be better, and that's a Monday night game. But in 6 days, they travel to Denver, and then they travel to Philadelphia. So the benefit of the the detriment of being a West Coast team. They're going to put a lot of air miles on, and then they're home against Buffalo. So that's another Monday night game. So they got a brutal, first 5 games, if I'm being honest. And then they get a little bit of a break with the Cardinals at home, and the Raiders should be a win. But then the Chargers, then they fly all the way back to Washington to play the Commanders. But then they get Green Bay, Kansas City, both at home. I think it's tough. I mean, I think that number is kind of spot on, but it's still all about travel, right? I mean, they're at Dallas, and 5 days later on Christmas Day, they're at Seattle, and then they're at Tampa Bay, so there's more travel, and then back home to face Seattle. So, you know, the middle part of their schedule should almost be a rest compared to the bookends that they start and end with. But 12 wins, that means they can have 5 losses. Um, I think I think they're a 12-win team. I'll just go out there and say it. I mean, they could win more, they could win less, but I think they're a 12-win team. So I'm going to take the over.
Yeah, I mean this team is absolutely loaded on both sides, and that's without us saying that Aaron Donald could be back for this Rams defense. You mentioned the offensive line and their concerns. I think there's actually be a little bit more balance as far as them passing and um running the football, right? Obviously, when you do have two elite wide receivers in Devontae Adams, who's one of the best route runners in the entire National Football League, and we know what, uh, Nakua can do as far as getting the receptions and the yards there. I'll be very curious to see what they do get out of the tight end position for this team because um, the defenses are going to focus obviously on slowing down Nakua. I know Devontae Adams is a little bit older now, but he can still get it done for this team. But obviously, I think the only thing that really holds this team back is going to be injuries, right? And you can say that for any single team, but um, and you mentioned the schedule there. It is a rough start, obviously, going to all the way to Australia against the Niners. And then, yes, you do get about 10 days off before you play on Monday night against the Giants in your home opener. And then you have to go to Denver, which is also a prime time game on Sunday Night Football. And then you go to Philly there as well, and then you have Buffalo. So those first 5 weeks it's gonna be tough. But then there are some winnable games after that. We have two against Arizona. You go to Las Vegas. You have the Chargers at home, and then the Commanders on the road before you get to your bye week. But there's just ways this team, especially under Sean McVay, gets the job done, and they find ways. And God forbid if Aaron Donald does come back, those opposing offensive lines and quarterbacks are going to have a really, really hard time slowing those two guys down. So I think that the defense can complement the offense very well here. If Aaron Donald does come back, but making the assumption that he doesn't, I mean, you still have Myles Garrett that you have to deal with there. So I do think this team could, and I think the expectation in their head is that okay, it's probably going to take 13 wins for this team to probably win this division, right? Because we saw last year what the Seahawks were able to do. Obviously, we do expect the Niners to be right there as well. But I've been a Sean McVay guy. I've been a Matthew Stafford guy as well. So I do think they put up points, and I think the defense will do their job as well. So I think they do walk into 13 wins here for this upcoming season for this Rams team, and I do think that they do win the division as well. Any closing thoughts, Uncle Dave, for the Rams?
No, other than that's the last team we have to preview.
Yeah, that's our last team. We made it all the way to the top, going through all 32 NFL teams. So it feels like we started that long ago, but here we are. I said by the time we finish this list, is where we're going to be ever so closer to the NFL season as well. So I'm glad we were able to get some NFL content on our podcast here as well before we do shift over to the official football schedule over on the Straight Out of Vegas feed. All right, Uncle Dave, last order of business. That is going to be our best bets for the Thursday card. I'll let you lead it off. Where are you taking us?
Yeah, I'm going to go to Arlington, Texas, and the Nationals. Your Nationals. You let me go first, so sorry if I'm stealing your thunder. With Alvarez and deGrom, I like the first 5. It's still 4.5 at DraftKings. I mean I expect deGrom to have a good game, but I think moreover I expect Alvarez to have a good game. I mean he's solid. The Rangers are not ideal in hitting against OPS against lefties, and that is obviously what Alvarez is. And they also have I mean, exposure to him. Brandon Nimmo's had two at bats, and that's it. So I don't think he needs his A game to get through a few innings. So yeah, and obviously we would for all season take the Washington bullpen out of it. So I'm saying that first five they don't see five runs. So best bet Thursday, Nationals, Rangers under 4.5.
Yeah, I'll also go with the first five under as well. That's going to be in that Yankees and the Orioles game here tonight between Gerrit Cole and Kyle Bradish. I think these both these pitchers will go along very well. I don't know why the market. I mean, I can see why they are on the Yankees, but again, it's me more so believing in what Gerrit Cole has really settled into the season here, and starting to get into form here for this pitching rotation of the New York Yankees. And I mentioned the numbers there, especially in his road starts this season, where he's been absolutely phenomenal. And of course, familiarity with his Orioles team. And yes, I know he didn't pitch against them last year. But you take a look at his, home and road splits this year. It's been very, very good for him and the Yankees. And again, we've talked about the offense, obviously not having Aaron Judge, and there's been some lapses in the offense there as well. But I do think that Kyle Bradish and both Gerrit Cole can go along very well here, at least in the first 5 innings. So that number right now is currently sitting at 4. I do see at Bet Online. So again, best bet for me. Let me double check for the lines because the lines are on the move here as we are recording. Let me scroll down here. First 5 innings. Yeah, there's still a 4 out there on Bet Online, minus 108 there for the first 5 under between the Yankees and the Orioles. And that, my friends, is going to do it here for this edition of Cash That Ticket Podcast here on the Straight Out of Vegas AM feed. Uncle Dave, anything else for our listeners before we get our Thursdays rolling?
Nope, it's time for the golf playoffs, and they were nice to me today, and they didn't tee off till 10 o'clock, so I didn't have to get up early. Um,
Yeah, I saw that.
I mean, it's awesome. I see Colin Morikawa birdied the first hole, and I do generally like him. I did last week, and he did crappy, so I left him alone, and sure enough, he birdies the first hole. So, yeah, I mean, we're Hideki fans, and we are Matthew Fitzpatrick fans, and then we will be baseball fans in about 3 hours.
There we go. We'll be back tomorrow in some form or fashion for the final episode, at least for the season, for a Cash That Ticket podcast. So look out for us then. Hopefully, we will be talking about some more winners and coming back with our best bets. But enjoy all the action today. Again, Uncle Dave mentioned the golf is on. We got baseball throughout the day and through the evening. I know WNBA. We've got preseason tonight as well in the NFL. So again, it's go time right now for the football season. All right, good luck with your tickets. Enjoy the games, and we'll talk to you guys down the road.